Laux music.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. I just really hit the field. 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 Boy, I'm about to hit the field.
And we're back for another episode of the Hitting the Field podcast, our Super Bowl 54 preview. And man, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up, y'all. That's crazy. But joining me to talk Super Bowl preview, Jeremy Brener, your host here, is Mr. Jeff Laux and Mr. Sean Green. How y'all doing today?
Amazing.
Good. How we doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad it's almost the weekend. But we're gonna roll into the weekend previewing Super Bowl 54. Now, guys, if I told you, 6 months ago that we would be here right before the Super Bowl, and it's the Niners and the Chiefs, would y'all have believed me?
I would have said it would be the Niners and Patriots.
Niners and Patriots?
Yeah.
Niners, though.
Yeah, I've always said from the start of the season I'm a big Jimmy G supporter.
Yeah.
I liked the Niners. Without their injuries every year, the Niners are a really solid team. So I'm not surprised that they're there. I'm just surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs are there.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think?
We're blessed. We don't have to live through another Patriots Super Bowl.
Blessed.
I mean, this is the best matchup we could possibly have gotten when you think about it entering into the playoffs. You're like, wow, these two teams are the best teams to enter the playoffs. Hopefully they make it to the end.
Absolutely. I said it on the show this past week. I've said it several times. I'm really happy about this matchup. I don't think you can really complain about this matchup. Even if you're a fan of the Patriots who aren't there, Sean.
Oh no, I will say, yes, I am disappointed that my team's not there, but as a football fan, I think it is a good matchup. I do want to say, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. This week has been definitely tough, I think, for many sports fans.
Yes.
We talked about on Hitting the Field, and people have thrown out everything about Kobe Bryant. I just want to say something really quick.
Go ahead.
This week has not, felt the same. I've been a sports fan my entire life. I was not a Kobe fan. I was a Kobe hater, mainly because I'm a Magic fan, and when he beat the Magic in the playoffs, it was like a gut wrench in the finals. It was like a gut wrench. We beat LeBron, and I'm like, oh my God, we might finally get one. And Kobe just took my heart out and crushed it. And I never liked Kobe Bryant, but after Sunday, I didn't know how much I respected Kobe Bryant. And as much as I'm really excited for the Super Bowl as a football fan, and I'm really, pumped to see these players go out and try to win one for their city, I credit to Kansas City and to San Francisco. I bet they really want to bring a Super Bowl home. I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel the same. It just hasn't felt the same, especially with Media Week and, the players getting interviewed. It kind of just feels like it just doesn't feel the same. But with that being said, I hope the game takes everybody's minds away from this situation for a couple hours and brings some joy after a really tough week.
Yeah, I mean, one team will feel joy. The other might not feel the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was well said, Sean. Jeff, is there anything you want to say about Kobe before we move on? Because I do think that I want to give you guys some time for this, so yeah.
I mean, growing up, the reason I played basketball is because of Kobe. I'm not trying to say that just because the occurrence of this, but I literally have posters of him in my room. I have 3 of his jerseys. I mean, I still can't believe it. I've tried to watch some NBA games this week, and I can't get into it. I'm trying to watch the Magic. I'm just like, I really just can't feel it. I mean, you can see on the players' faces of how big of a how significant this death is in the industry of basketball and just in the world in general, man. People are mourning him all across the world. It's just, he was a global figure. And, as you said on the show, legends will live forever. And, long live Kobe, the Black Mamba.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, this week has been very difficult. And it isn't something that we should just, brush to the side. I mean, day by day, things do seem a little bit, reality is beginning to set in, although the Lakers still haven't played a game yet. They play tonight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, tonight being Friday, we're recording this on a Friday. Let me just get that nugget in there. But, it does have an impact on the Super Bowl. Even it might not necessarily affect the outcome of the game, but I do think that it has an effect on the players and how they, because Kobe and what he stood for was beyond basketball, and it was not just basketball. It was just how to prepare for and how to compete at the highest level. And there is no higher level than the Super Bowl. There is no higher level than the Super Bowl. This is the creme de la creme. This is the pinnacle. This is Mount Everest. This is it.
Yeah.
And you see guys like Tevin Coleman, who probably wouldn't play in this game if it wasn't the Super Bowl. But you see him like trying to do every single little thing he can to get to play in the game. Things like that. I mean, the Chiefs are pretty healthy. I don't think they have any lingering injuries. But, guys like that are trying to play in this final game because you never know when you're going to get a shot like this again. You never know if you're going to get a shot like this to get your team to the football. You may never step on a football field again. And I think that people, and I think like players, they understand that, and it's in the back of their head. They don't really go into every game saying, oh, this could be the last game I ever play, yada, yada, yada. But with Kobe, I do think that kind of races a little bit to the front of the mind a little bit. And I do think it does affect the preparation for this game, whether it's, positive or negative. I think that, failing to mention that does not tell the whole story.
No, and I think the NFL came out and said that something that Kobe will play a part in the Super Bowl. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be a moment of silence before the game or something like that. I just felt like it's definitely going to be necessary. Kobe's going to be the talk of sports for years to come, but especially in the next couple months with the All-Star Game and all that stuff. But especially this weekend. I think the world is hurting. Sports fans are hurting. And like I said, I didn't think it would affect me this much. Because again, like, I'm not a Kobe fan. But after this happened, you kind of go back and you start to really think. And you're like, wow, like I respected him so much. And that's why I hated him so much. It was just like, it hit me really hard. So I'm hoping, even though my team's on the Super Bowl, it's a different perspective. I can watch from a different point of view. And I'm just really excited to see two teams battle it out because it's going to be a really fun game. They're very evenly matched, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, they are very evenly matched. So let's start with the Chiefs. Let's just start with the Chiefs. Look, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 12-4, won the last, I don't know how many games. They've won probably like 6 or 7 in a row. They've been, I think, the best team in the AFC the second half of the year. So, I mean, if you include the Ravens, yeah. But it's like the Ravens don't even exist anymore. It's kind of crazy. But the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, first time in 50 years. 50 years it's been since the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl. So, what can they do, Jeff, to get their first Super Bowl victory in 50 years? 50 plus years.
Make Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball. Javarius Ward, one of the top PFF corners in the league. Tyrann Mathieu's been playing out of his mind. And Jimmy G is one of the lowest rated quarterbacks when it comes to throwing outside passes. Like, if he doesn't throw it inside the middle to Kittle, or he throws short little dinky routes that get rack, then he can't throw the ball much. And the problem with the Chiefs overall is going to be their run defense, and everyone's hating on them for that. But Chris Jones, when he was on the field last week, he was phenomenal. I mean, he had so many QB hurries. He's stuffing up the middle, stopping the run.
Against a very good Titans offensive line, too.
No one thought anyone could stop Derrick Henry. And
he
one
did.
of the worst-rated run defenses stopped him. So, yeah. I mean, I think the Chiefs need to just stick to their game plan, run the offense through Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and just play solid on defense. Do the same thing that every other team was doing to Lamar Jackson, stop the run, and then make him throw the ball. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu's been playing phenomenal, And yeah,
Who's more important in this defense, Chris Jones or Tyrann Mathieu?
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
I mean, the stats speak for themselves. Last week he was on the field for, I believe, like 16 snaps. He had like I think an 8% QB hurry. I mean, he was breaking through the interior line so well and just stopping the run that the QB had to actually throw the ball. And then Javarius Ward, like I mentioned, he's been playing phenomenal. He's very underrated. No one's looking at him. Everyone's like, oh, Tyrann Mathieu. The real X factor is Javarius Ward. Can he lock up one corner of the field to allow, the middle linebackers of the Chiefs to cover up Kittle? So
Yeah. Now, Sean, the Chiefs defense has been suspect at times this year.
Very suspect.
Suspect.
Yeah.
Suspects. And so why? Why has the Chiefs defense been so suspect over the year?
Well, over the years, the Chiefs defense, like I said a couple weeks ago, they've never been an elite defense that, makes you scared to play them. They don't have enough playmakers on defense. Tyrann Mathieu definitely made them a better defense, but they don't add pieces like crazy to make that defense scary. So, to be honest, Jeff said, if, make Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball, you have a really good shot to win. I actually think if Jimmy Garoppolo throws the ball, they have a way better shot at winning if I'm the 49ers.
Really?
I'm a big Jimmy G guy. I've heard game manager, and he is, to a degree, a game manager. But don't get it twisted. He can throw the ball down the field. And with those receivers like Deebo Samuel and some of those running backs, they're going to be hard to stop. So I don't think this defense is going to be able to hold the 49ers to under 30. I think it's going to be... the 49ers are going to put up some points.
So they may be able to hold them... They may not be able to hold them to under 30. But the thing is that Chiefs offense can score more than 30. And that might be... I think that's how a lot of people are expecting this game to go, is it's going to be a shootout in the first of 50 wins or the first of 40 wins. So let's kind of transition over back to the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Now, look, I think, to me, I feel like there's no way that if the Chiefs were to win, that Patrick Mahomes won't be the MVP. I feel like the Chiefs need Patrick Mahomes to be Patrick Mahomes if they want to win the game. Is that a fair statement that I just made?
Absolutely. But I think, fans in the NFL, and especially analysts, everybody likes the shiny new toy. It's not a known secret. This week, I was expecting a really evenly talked about, matchup. But every time I go on Twitter or hear any analyst talk, it's all about Patrick Mahomes. And I get it. The dude is insanely good. He's putting up monster numbers in only a couple seasons. He's in the Super Bowl. But, you have to look at the whole team. And Patrick Mahomes can easily lose this game just as Jimmy Garoppolo can. I think if the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win, Patrick Mahomes needs to be the MVP. Yeah. He needs to throw 4 touchdowns. He needs to be the stud that he is. But by no means do I think, Patrick Mahomes is this, rising god like Tom Brady that can, do anything and is the almighty. I think, give Kansas City credit. They're a really good team, but we need to pump the brakes a little bit and just see how they go out and perform against that 49ers defense.
So here's my question. I'll throw this out there to both of y'all. Is a team going to... Is this game about winning or about not losing? Now, not losing meaning making the fewest mistakes, or winning being the team that makes the most plays?
I'm going to be honest. If anybody's going to make the mistakes, it's going to be Kansas City.
Because of how the offense is built?
It's more, I'm looking at the defenses more than anything. Both offenses have studs that can, make plays and do things that not many offenses in the league can do. But if I'm being honest with myself, that 49ers defense is significantly better than the Kansas City defense. So if I think anybody's going to cause turnovers, it's going to be that 49ers defense. I think these teams are going to go try win it. Like I said, like I think you said, Jeremy, too, they're going to be putting up monster points. So I don't think anybody's going to try to minimize the game or try to run clock. Or
they have to make up for last year. So,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so Jeff, does a team... I mean, look, Kansas City is very good in the fact that they can go out and they can get you 50 yards on any given play, really. But also, I think Sean made up a good point, which is when you have offenses that are that explosive, they're prone to making more mistakes. So does a team need to not make mistakes or go out and try to win the football game?
I think they should play free. They should play to themselves. I know that Patrick Mahomes doesn't make that many mistakes, but if he makes a couple of mistakes, I think that their defense can bail them out. I'm a believer in the Chiefs' defense.
Wow.
You know, relating back to what we just said about Jimmy Garoppolo has the worst EPA per attempt in the NFL on throws targeting outside receivers.
What is EPA? I really honestly have no idea.
So
I'm gonna call you out right now.
Like
I
looking
have
that up,
no idea.
So it's a pass. It's passing attempts. So
Okay.
so basically,
So what's the E for?
I believe
Is there a silent E?
Essential passing attempts. I can look it up.
Essential. What is
It might be.
Okay.
Associated Press put this out earlier.
Okay, so wait. So what's the difference between essential? What's the difference between an essential pass attempt and then just a normal pass attempt?
That's a good question.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking up stats, make sure you know what you are
No,
putting out there.
No, give Jeff the floor.
no,
Give
no,
Jeff the floor. Jeff, I will. You have the floor to explain what an essential pass attempt is and what is the difference between an essential pass attempt versus a normal pass attempt.
I'll get back to you in 5 minutes. about
Okay,
the
all right.
essential
5
pass
minutes.
attempt.
5
But
minutes.
just in general, pass attempts. I mean, negative 0.3 when he's passing to his outside receivers. He's a dink and dunk quarterback. He might be a glorified game manager, just as Alex Smith. Look at him. How many passes did he have last week? What was it, like 7 to 8? Or was it 14? I'm sorry, not as much as Patrick Mahomes has had in a combined, half? I mean, Patrick Mahomes just slings the ball with, the monster arm that he has. It's a bazooka. I mean, Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to burn Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman's been talking all this smack, how he's back, how he's going to do everything on his prove it deal. He's done it so far. But when it comes to the biggest stage, will he show up to cover Tyreek Hill? Will, the middle linebackers play to, Kelsey's weaknesses? Will they make sure that Patrick Mahomes can't get outside the pocket and make crazy throws as he's done all season long? Another thing, relating back, is Tyrann Mathieu. On 37 man coverage snaps against tight ends, he's only allowed one catch for 5 yards.
It's pretty good.
That is really good. And how does Jimmy G get his yards most of the time? Dink and dunk or throw into George Kittle?
But also, I think you guys are kind of just thinking Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go and throw for 50 times. That's not going to happen.
No way.
That's not going to happen, guys. The Niners have won games this year by running the football, taking time off the clock. Pretty much every game except the Saints, I would say. They run the football. They're a running football team. So why are you going to deviate from what has gotten you to the Super Bowl? This is not the time to change a game plan and go totally, berserk. You do what you do best. And what the Niners do best, they run the football.
I don't think it's a deviation. I don't think they're not going to run the football and Jimmy's going to throw, 50 times like Patrick Mahomes. I just think at some point the run's not going to work. Maybe it does whole game, and maybe they run all over Kansas City.
The run has not stopped working. So why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh no, and that's why some of these Jimmy Garoppolo stats, I really don't look at them that much. If we're being logical, like you said, Jeremy, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So why would you not run? He threw 8 times last game.
Yeah.
Why would he need to throw more?
He should not throw the football.
But
more than 20 times, 25 at the most.
But that's what I'm saying. If the run doesn't work, I think the question is,
can
Jimmy G...
What makes the Niners so dangerous is the fact that not only... They don't have, the Titans, where it's just literally one guy. Look, with the Titans, you have to stop one guy. Now, this is Derrick Henry. Now, it's very hard to stop Derrick Henry. However, the Chiefs picked up on that, and they were able to stop Derrick Henry. And once they had that, they have absolutely no answer. But with the Niners, the difference between the Niners and the Titans is that, if Mostert doesn't work, let's throw in Matt Breida. Let's see if Matt Breida can break this.
Coleman.
If Matt Breida doesn't work, Tevin Coleman, who, we'll see how much he'll play. But if it's not Tevin Coleman, let's do a Deebo Samuel end around. Or they have so many, or put Juszczyk in there. Maybe Juszczyk can get you some yards. They have so many people that you have to game plan for, and so many people that you have to try to be able to beat. And they're all so very different and versatile. That's the challenge that the Chiefs defense is going to have to face. They don't have to just stop one person, because if they can stop Mostert, congratulations, good for you. But then can you stop Matt Breida? And if you can stop Matt Breida, then can you stop Tevin Coleman? And if you can stop all those guys, Chiefs will win this game 100%.
Oh, if you could stop the run, the Chiefs have a great shot. But I just think people are really discounting Jimmy Garoppolo. It's kind of sickening. Like,
I think that's fair, but I also think that it's not. It's more so not the fact that they're discounting Jimmy. It's the fact that because the running game is so good, and Jimmy, and look, the way I said it on the show,
or
on
is
Monday,
it that Patrick Mahomes is on the other side?
that's also part of it too. That's also part of
yeah.
it. Is the fact that if you compare anyone to Patrick Mahomes, you're not gonna come out on the winning side. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo is at the Super Bowl. He could win his 3rd ring in 5 years.
That makes me sick. But I love Jimmy G, but that's just insane.
I mean, granted, 3 rings that came in a very unique way.
Two of them.
Unique, yes.
Yeah.
2 of them, yes. The 3rd one, he would deserve it.
Exactly, and that's why I'm not throwing out my prediction just yet, but
yeah.
I think,
We'll get to that at the end of the show.
Exactly. The run game, it's going to be crucial for the 49ers, but I mean, you got Emmanuel Sanders, you got George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. Like, these aren't just guys that can't produce. These are studs, and if the run game's not working, I do not have a shadow of doubt in my mind that Jimmy G can make the throws and throw 25 to 30 times in a game and win the game.
Let's go back to the Chiefs here. Jeff, which Chiefs skill player needs to show up the most?
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams.
No one's talking about him.
That's
it's
true.
all Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins.
But why Damian Williams?
Because everyone's like, oh, let's rely on Patrick Mahomes' arm. But if you can get the running game going, and then that opens up for play action with Tyreek Hill, Kelce, then they can shred that amazing defense apart. Because the 49ers has the best defense in football by far. They don't have any, like, their pass rushers, I put them in top 10 in the league. And Bosa is definitely number 1. So if you can start running the ball, getting 5 to 6 per game, which isn't unattainable, but it is uncharacteristic, characteristic of Damian
How
Williams.
do you run the ball against that front 7 that the Niners have? Because it seems like, to me, very few teams have had success against that front 7.
Oh,
very
not
few.
at all. I got to see my Cleveland Browns get shredded apart. Nick Chubb couldn't get anything busted loose.
Exactly.
I mean, they're a talented front 7, but they're also going to be on their tippy toes around Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes could run read options. You know, he can run RPOs. Yeah. You know, with the slant to Tyreek Hill. I mean, there's a lot of weapons on the Chiefs side that could allow for Damian Williams to get popping. Maybe even McCoy shows up. You know, maybe LaShawn McCoy's like, "Hey, I want my ring. I'm coming in." But
LaShawn McCoy is close to it. He's 1 game away from a ring.
I think Andy Reid is gonna take the precautionary measure of score as many points as you can. And I know we just talked about mistakes, but I'm thinking that he wants to play it as a offensive minded game. He wants to see which offense can outproduce the offense. And if you look at offenses, obviously the Chiefs will outperform Jimmy G, Kittle, and then the wide receivers. And Deebo Samuel has played fantastic for the draft position he got selected at. But
very well, period.
Yeah, Andy Reid is going to utilize the passing game more, but if the running game busts open, then don't be surprised if play action becomes
here's
main priority.
Here's a question that doesn't really matter about the game as much. If Andy Reid wins this game, is he in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Regular season
GOAT.
Oh, regular season GOAT. And he could have gotten his first ring against the Patriots.
But he didn't.
But he was so close. What was it, a 3-point deficit he lost by? What was it?
It was a 3-point game.
Yeah. I mean,
but when you have that hardware, it does mean something. But even if you do have that hardware, it might not be worth a buzz.
6 rings.
6 rings. Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, but look at Andy Reid's career. He has made it to how many conference championships? And the one thing he doesn't have is a ring. No. He's been successful in 2 places for a long time. He was with Philly for over 10 years, 14 years. And now he's with the Chiefs. He's made it to the playoffs almost every year with the Chiefs.
I think he's made it to 1 Super Bowl, right? I might be mistaken on that.
This is his 2nd Super Bowl.
Yeah, because he played
That's
Patriots.
Still very impressive.
Yeah, you know,
to make it to 1 Super Bowl is great. Make it to 2. It's twice as nice.
Andy Reid's a great coach. I don't think anybody's discounting that. Hall of Fame, if he wins, that's questionable. Maybe with the players he's had, like a Donovan McNabb and, now Patrick Mahomes, he's got an eye for talent. Right now, I just don't see him in the Hall of Fame. Maybe that can change. I just think there's other people that at this moment in time are probably more deserving to make it into the Hall of Fame.
He has the 6th most wins among NFL head coaches. All 4 of the people ahead of him, there's 5 people ahead of him. 4 of them are in the Hall of Fame. The other is Bill Belichick, going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Are you sure? I'm sorry.
I would assume that he would be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I respect Andy Reid.
And now the ring is the one thing he's missing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Sunday. I really, to be completely honest, I'm just looking for a good game. I don't have, a favorite. I'm not pulling for anybody. If Andy Reid wins, good on him. It'll be his first Super Bowl. That's a great accomplishment. And then I'll take it from there. Right now, I just don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. And that's just my personal opinion.
Now, Jeff, even if the Chiefs lose, does he go to the Hall of Fame? Yes or no?
No.
No. So this is important. This is an important game for him to win if he wants to have, a Hall of Fame bust in Canton.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the former head coaches that are all in the Hall of Fame, they all pretty much have a ring or two to put to their name.
That's true.
And I'm not saying Andy Reid's going to retire after this year, and I think that he's going to try to build a dynasty with Patrick Mahomes at the helm of it.
He's 61. He's still got plenty of time.
I think, like I said, Andy Reid wants this game so bad, and it's his to lose because Kyle Shanahan's battling the 28-3 demon. I mean, and Andy Reid himself's battling I have no rings demon. He's been around great talent, as Sean said, and he needs to capitalize off of it to make himself look like a good head coach.
Do you want that? Do you want to explain? I'll explain if you don't. Okay, so as Sean pointed out to our little graphic here, number 11 in head coaching wins is
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher, who at best lost a Super Bowl by a yard. If Jeff Fisher won that Super Bowl, he could he be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, if I'm looking at this list you got up so graciously, Jeremy, you see a bunch of Hall of Fame coaches in that top 22, and there's only a couple that aren't on there.
I mean, look, you also have Mike Shanahan, who, although he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, could be at some point. I'd be very surprised if he didn't find himself in the Hall of Fame at the end. He's had a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so hard with coaches because only so many get in. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to be selective with it. Andy Reid, yeah, he's
I think
number
a
6.
ring would do him a big difference.
Absolutely. John Coughlin is going to be a Hall of Famer, and a main reason for that is the 2 Super Bowls. Super Bowls, I don't care what anybody says, Super Bowls are so important when you are a coach.
That's what kept Mike McCarthy in Green Bay for so long.
He won 1 Super Bowl, and everybody thinks he's the greatest coach, and then look what happened. So, yes, this is a huge game for Andy Reid. I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame just yet. He's got a long career ahead of him still. He's a great coach. He knows how to spot talent. I just don't see him in the Hall of Fame yet. We'll see how he does on Sunday, though.
Yep. But I do think that you made a good point in that this is an important game for that Hall of Fame candidacy.
And I think he knows that. I'm not gonna, I think we're all talking how great Andy Reid is and how we really want him to win a Super Bowl. But let's not get him mistaken. Andy Reid really needs the Super Bowl and wants it because he's been itching for one for so long.
If he doesn't win, they're going to say, "Oh,
never won a Super Bowl."
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride." They're going to
go.
he never gets the big one. And so the same could also be said for Kyle Shanahan, who found himself 3 years ago up 20-3, and then Sean, what happened after that?
If I remember correctly, it's been a while, but I think the Patriots came back and won.
The Patriots came back and won.
Yeah.
So that was the last time we saw Kyle Shanahan in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He took that Niners job that offseason, and 3 years later has his own team in the Super Bowl. It's the first father-coach duo to ever coach in a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. So let's talk 49ers.
Awesome.
49ers last year 4-12. This year Super Bowl bound. I mean,
What happened?
What happened? Yeah, what happened?
Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy. I think, especially with a young team like this, I think you saw with the Rams too. When you have a young team, it takes time. But when you don't have your starting quarterback, it makes it almost impossible to produce. I think Kyle Shanahan...
Tell that to the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles are a different story.
I mean, yeah, Nick Mullins is very different than Nick Foles, but...
But even Nick Mullins produced. Like, I was kind of surprised by Mullins. He played decent enough. Of course, he's not a starter, but they did pretty well in the games that they were in.
Yeah. Someone they also didn't have last year, other than Jimmy Garoppolo, was Nick Bosa.
Exactly, and that's why it was perfect. Like, almost a perfect storm for the 49ers. Have one bad year, didn't have your starter. Give the number 2 player in the draft. That should be the defensive rookie of the year.
So that the defense has been heralded as the best defense in football. Mm-hmm. Is this the best defense in football?
They're in the Super Bowl.
But that doesn't mean you have the best defense in football. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. They don't have the best defense in football.
Yeah, but it's... Something has to get you there. And, for some people, they say, oh, it was the run, the running game for the 49ers. That defense is absolutely insane. They are doing things that, I can look at some other teams like, the Seattle Seahawks in 2013, 2014, and some of these other teams, but for a team that's so young, like, that's what's really amazing to me. Like, Nick Bosa, it looks like he's just coming in and he's, a Pro Bowler. Or it's kind of just, it's weird. Eric Armstead, D Ford coming from Kansas City to the 49ers. The corners, Richard Sherman. I don't know what it is. It's just, I think they have a good mix of veterans and a good mix of young players.
I agree.
And the young players are playing like veterans. So when you have that, I do think at this moment, they're the best defense in the NFL, and they're in the Super Bowl. So it proves.
Yeah. Jeff, who's the most important player on this defense for the team and then for Sunday? So for the team, who's the most important player?
For the team overall.
For the defense.
For the defense.
For the defense. The defense runs because blank does his job.
I want to go with Quan Alexander. And it's an underrated pick. Because
it's a strange pick because he hasn't played a lot.
Yeah, but he's came back and look how how everything's connecting. That D-line with Bosa, Day, Buckner, and Armstead's been playing out of their mind. The middle of the field's being covered well with Quan Alexander. I mean, Greenlaw's come out of in his own. I mean, Richard Sherman, Jimmy Ward. It's
a lot. Like Sean said, a good mix of veterans, a good mix of young players. They went out. They got D Ford. They got Quan Alexander. That kind of brought some, players that are entering their prime as well. And I think that's important. So you think Quan Alexander is the most important player for the team? For that defense?
For the defense, but for the team to get all the way through, I want to say Kittle or Sherman because they're the most vocal leaders.
Talk Sherman. So I think a big matchup that a lot of people are branding as probably the biggest matchup in this game is Tyreek Hill against Richard Sherman. Now, we're assuming that will be a matchup because Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1, Richard Sherman, cornerback 1, household names, both of them. But is it in the best interest of the Niners to put Sherman on Tyreek Hill? Or is it someone like Emmanuel Mosley or
I would put Emmanuel Mosley
Ahkello
on him.
Witherspoon or someone like that?
Richard Sherman is fast, but I don't think he's fast enough to cover Tyreek Hill on man coverage. Either you need to put him on zone against him, or you need to let him lay off because Tyreek Hill has burners, man. He runs like crazy.
And
he's gonna wear him out.
So does McCole Hardman. So does so does Damian Williams. Yeah. Like they're the fastest team in football.
Demarcus Robinson's
all. Yeah, I mean, like,
it's crazy.
He's an afterthought, but he's actually really good.
I mean, just like Tom Brady did, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to make some of these receivers pop out like crazy because Tom Brady's. I'm not saying he's making receivers or he's made receivers, but I wouldn't see Julian Edelman being a great slot corner or slot wide receiver anywhere else besides the Patriots because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same way with Demarcus Robinson, McCole Hardman with Patrick Mahomes.
Mentioning Sherman, how would you feel about putting Sherman to guard Travis Kelce? Because I actually think we could see that at some point. We might.
You're right.
It's not a guarantee, but we
right.
might.
I mean, he's a second weapon to Patrick Mahomes that needs to be covered at all times because, everyone's talking about Kittle, but the Kelsey versus Kittle debate is still alive, and it's hard to grasp. I've asked so many people that are Kittle, but if you get Kelsey going, he's a beast. He leads that offense more than Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's the vocal leader at the end of the day. Tyreek Hill doesn't really talk much. I mean, he just runs like crazy.
He runs too far. You don't even know what he's saying.
Patty Mahomes, aka Kermit the Frog. He's calling plays, but Kelsey calls the shots. I feel like.
I see what he's a more vocal leader.
Yeah, he's
I see what you're saying.
He's going to tell the team in the huddle, let's go down here and score now.
I see what you're saying.
Put the foot on their throat.
He's the more vocal, animated person, and you need that. I think that you do need someone like that in the locker room at some point, and that is different for every team.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention,
Kittle is that for the Niners.
Yeah, about both teams is their offensive line's been playing really
That's
well.
true.
Eric Fisher's panned out for the Chiefs. I mean, Katie Sowers has done a fantastic job with that offensive line. I know she's an assistant now, but
who else is an offensive assistant for the Niners? Wes Welker. See,
crazy. But Joe Staley.
Nobody's talking about Wes Welker.
I mean, Joe Staley has always been one of the best left tackles in the game. Will go down as one of the best left tackles alongside Joe Thomas, maybe Trent Williams, just from this current day era. I mean,
but let's get not to cut you off, but let's get back to the defense here.
Defense, okay,
because that's where I want to go. Sean, who on this defense needs to step up for Sunday in order to win this game?
I think DeForest Buckner. That's my pick. If he can get a sack, 1 or 2, this team has 57 sacks on the year. They can get to the quarterback. But like Patrick Mahomes, this crazy good quarterback, the next Tom Brady, people are saying he can get out of sacks. He can run around. So it's really, we can pinpoint one player on the defense to, who has to have the biggest game or stuff like that. I think it just has to be, can you get to the quarterback? And, the back end plays well.
Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't get sacked very often.
No, and that's for a team that has 57 sacks. I think that's going to be the most interesting matchup per se to see if that
here's
front
the
line
thing.
can
I
get
actually
to 'em.
do like that matchup for the Niners, that front seven, because I do think that front seven trumps any offensive line in the game. I do. Like, look, if it's not Buckner, it's Armstead. If it's not Armstead, it's Bosa. If it's not Bosa, it's Quan Alexander. If it's not Quan Alexander, it's D Ford. You really there's really no room for error with that when you play the Niners, that offensive line. But the matchup that you favor the Chiefs with is their skill players, arguably the best in the league, against the Niners secondary, which if you had to point out a weakness for the Niners, it's that secondary. Yeah. And look, I'm not saying the Niners secondary is poor. I do think that Niners secondary is very good. However, if you look at every single unit on that team, the one that sticks out, not in the best way, is that secondary.
And of course, the secondary stands out because of that, front seven so dominant and strong. I want to say on the who's going to guard Tyreek Hill factor, I think it's very simple. And if I'm Kyle Shanahan, this is what I do. I put Richard Sherman on him, but you don't put him one-on-one. I think that's one of the stupidest things an NFL team can do, because this dude can go play for the U.S. track team and go to the Olympics right now if he wanted to. I think you double him.
The thing is, though, if you double Tyreek,
it leaves Travis Kelce
or McCall Hardman or Sammy Watkins.
I take that chance.
You take the chance against McCall Hardman 1-on-1 with Akello Witherspoon.
You got to give up one.
Akello Witherspoon and McCall Hardman. I will tell you who wins that right now.
I can imagine
McCall Hardman.
I think, to be completely honest, and again, this is all speculation. We don't know what Kyle Shanahan's going to end up doing. I just think the Chiefs are going to be like, listen, if Travis Kelce wants to get these little dunk and dime passes, we'll give it to him. We're not going to get beat deep. We're not going to have these fast guys go beat us deep.
You'd rather have Kelce get you a 10-yard gain, or you'd rather have Kelce get a 10-yard gain than McCall Hardman or Tyreek Hill at 30 or 40 or 50 or a touchdown.
And I think that can only get you so far.
Right.
If they can throw dunk and dime passes all they want, but at some point the middle linebacker is going to take on Kelce, and he's not going to be able to catch all the passes. So I think if you take away their best receiver, like a Tyreek Hill, you double him with Ward or the strong safety come over, have Richard Sherman on him, and bring the free safety or strong safety over, that takes him out of the game.
Yeah.
And statistically, usually when Tyreek Hill gets doubled, he's not as consistent because he's got two guys on him. So if you have a best chance to win the game, you got to double Tyreek.
And that's why they drafted Mecole Hardman, to take some attention off of Tyreek Hill.
He's a young player.
He is, but also he's fast. And,
yeah,
and just because you're in the Super Bowl doesn't change that.
And that's the Chiefs' MO. They're just going to draft fast guys that can run because Patrick Mahomes can throw. And, more power to him. It's a smart move. But I do agree. I think if Mecole Hardman's on any other team, it's he's not as consistent.
So let's move back to the Niners offense here. And let's put this Jimmy Garoppolo, debate to bed. Look, Sean, you're a Jimmy G guy. I want you to make the case for him. Do you think he has a chance to be the MVP?
Huh. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Okay, so if we are watching the Lombardi Trophy presentation, and Jimmy Garoppolo gets that MVP trophy, why would that scenario happen? What would have to happen in the game for that scenario to happen?
He throws the ball at least 25, 30 times.
For 300?
Yeah, listen, and that's why it's so frustrating.
And why is he capable of that?
I think people are forgetting what kind of quarterback Jimmy G is. I think when a team's doing something good, like Jeremy, you said, you don't go away from it. So I think that's like last year, people said the same thing about the Patriots. It's like, oh, they're running the ball well. Tom doesn't look the same. But guess what happened? In Kansas City, Tom threw for 400 and the running game wasn't as consistent. So I think whatever's working is going to work. And I think Jimmy G is a top 10 quarterback in this league. And if the running game's going...
10?
Yeah, I'm saying...
Top 10?
He's a...
Okay, so who's in the top 10?
He's a top 10 game manager.
Who's in the top 10 game manager?
Top 10 game manager. But
there might not even be 10 game managers in the league.
He's got a hell of a coach. Listen, and Kyle Shanahan... We're talking about Kyle Shanahan, last time he was in the Super Bowl. What year was that? 2017? Or no, 2016.
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
He was like 36 years old. He's 40 now. He is so young, and he's such a great mind.
Who?
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
40 years old. Him and John Lynch have put together an incredible team, and they did not put all of their eggs in one basket in Jimmy G just to have him be a nonchalant game manager that hands the ball off. Just mark my words. When you are watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, do not be surprised if Jimmy G throws for over 300.
All right, your words are marked. Your words are marked.
My words are marked, 100%.
I have marked those words.
Emmanuel Sanders, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. These guys are going to show up, and Jimmy G is going to prove why you need to stop talking about Mr. Patrick Mahomes for 2 seconds and put some respect on his name.
You mean Jimmy G? You said
stop.
Patrick
No,
Mahomes.
I said stop talking about. Did I say
stop talking about Patrick
Mahomes for 2 seconds? We get it. He's such a great quarterback, good guy. But Jimmy G's a handsome-looking dude that can throw the football. That's all I'm saying on him.
See, I don't know. I get that Jimmy G's handsome and all. I hate that word handsome, by the way. But I don't know. I'm not a Jimmy G fan when it comes to that. And my opinion matters. Y'all's don't matter. Mine matters when it comes to that. No, I'm not a Jimmy G. I'm sorry. It's just not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Sorry.
Hey,
Sorry.
I respect
Neither
it.
is Tom Brady. I wonder why.
All right, Jeff, here you go, Bob.
All right. Okay. So, Niners offense. George Kittle, we know, top 2 tight end in the game. But who on the offense needs to be the one that steps up? Because look, you know the Chiefs are going to score points. You know it. So who on the offense for the Niners needs to match that or try to match that?
The offensive line. Because no one's talking about how, I mean, you said it on the Hitting the Field show, how good their offensive line is. But they've been playing great, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No,
Joe
I
Staley,
said if I was running behind that offensive line, I would have gotten 100 yards in that game. They gave Mostert 220. I would have gotten at least 100. My slow body.
They've done a fantastic job of alleviating pressure off of Jimmy G. I know he has 2 Super Bowl rings, but he didn't play any of those games.
Yeah.
But now he's playing on the biggest stage of all, and they need to take all the pressure off of him for them to win. One thing I'll give him is when he's under pressure, he throws it really well. But the Chiefs should play down low to like stop his. I mean, he's not good accuracy wise on the deep passes.
Yeah.
I've never seen him throw an accurate Hail Mary to win a game, to get a decent size of a margin. I've never watched it, but I could be wrong. But further off.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Keep going.
No. But as I was saying, back to the offensive line, if they can open up holes for Breida, for Tevin Coleman,
for Mostert.
Yeah, for Mostert. I mean, then it allows the play action to open up. Then it opens up for, Kittle to get little short dinky routes.
Yeah.
He's a great rack tight end. I mean, Gronk even chose Kittle over Kelsey, and he said he's a freak athlete, and he reminds me a little bit of myself. And if you get approval from Gronk, the GOAT of tight ends, then, I mean, play it through Kittle, just as Brady played through Gronkowski all those years.
Yep. All right. So, Sean, same question. Who on that offense needs to step up if they want to win the game? Is it Jimmy G, or is it which skill player needs to show up?
Well, I want to say Jimmy G, but
skill player. Player. Jimmy G's got to throw the ball. Who got to catch the ball?
It's tough. I think Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
Emmanuel Sanders is a stud. He's going to go out and do his thing, but Deebo Samuel, just like McCole Hardman, he's really young. He's still learning, and this is a big stage. So he's going to have to come up and make those big plays that can win the game for the 49ers. If Jimmy G, like I said, is going to throw the ball that much, he can't just throw it to Kittle and Sanders every single time. He's going to need that third wide receiver that's going to make plays. My problem is with people, saying that Jimmy G is just a pretty boy quarterback. That's always been my thing with, fans and Jimmy Garoppolo. I think 49ers fans, know what they're talking about. But if Jimmy Garoppolo and Deebo Samuel can have a good connection on Sunday, then it's going to be a really tough time for the Chiefs to win this game.
Yeah. All right. So now it is time to finally let our predictions out. I said mine on the show on Monday. I'm going to stick by it. Chiefs 38, 49ers 31. I think that's a fair game. I think it's a fair assessment. This game might come down to who gets the ball last. I really look, I think the last time I checked the line for the game, it was a 1-point game. It's basically a coin flip at this point. It's nice to see that this game is really, up in the air. I'm really excited about that. When I was younger, I used to get my Super Bowl picks right, but it's been a while since I've gotten my Super Bowl picks right. But I'm going to stick by it. 38-31, Chiefs win. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. So, score. Who wins? Score MVP. Jeff, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to get this on the phone so we can put this on social media. And go.
35-28 Chiefs. MVP, Patrick Mahomes. And you know why they're going to win? It's because that offensive firepower will overdo Mr. Jimmy G and that crazy good offensive line and run game. But, I mean, as everyone says, defense wins championships. But when you're playing this type of offense, that sentence doesn't make any sense.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with that pick? If you had to put $1 or $10...
I'd put $8.25 on
okay.
that. Because
$8.24.
$8.24, yeah.
Kobe.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Rest in
You were
peace.
going somewhere there.
All right. All right, Sean Green. Let's hear it.
I'm going to say 38-35, San Francisco 49ers,
Ooh.
MVP Jimmy Garoppolo. Robbie Gould, game-winning field goal kick.
Oh, that'd be
To end the
crazy.
game.
That'd be crazy. I hope we get that. That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, Robbie Gould's my guy. He's a great kicker, good guy, good dude. Listen, to be completely honest, I would not be shocked if, Kansas City won. I think that is the great thing about this game is these teams are so evenly matched, and I don't know where, it could easily be 38-35 Kansas City. It's going to be a really good game. I'm really excited to watch. But I just think I saw some people, and it was funny to me, saying the 49ers remind me a lot of the Rams or the Falcons. They don't have a story. They're not a story. And I said, I think for a franchise to come back from, like you said, 4-12 the year before, injuries upon injuries, coaches and not a good front office, to be in the Super Bowl with so many young players and so many veterans, I think if they win the Super Bowl, it'd be a great story. I know some people want to have Patrick Mahomes ride off in the sunset, but this is Jimmy Garoppolo's year. This is the 49ers' year, and I hope they win. I think they win. I'd bet, I don't know.
Like 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10. How confident are you with this pick?
I'm a 50-50.
All right.
Like I said, it's going to be a good game. I think the 49ers win, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if Patrick Mahomes pulled off the miracle.
Honestly, yeah. My confidence in my pick is maybe 2.48. How about that?
That's a good one.
Sweet.
That's a good one, isn't it?
We'll see. Sunday's
We'll see.
coming close.
All right. Well, that is a wrap on this episode of the Hitting the Field podcast. Jeff, Sean, thank you guys so much for joining me in the booth today.
No problem.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
So we will be back on the main show Monday where we will recap the Super Bowl and we will go into NBA All-Star talk and some trade deadline talk. Trade deadline is 6 days away from when we are recording this. So it is Thursday, February 7th? Yeah, 7th. February
Is it
6th.
after All-Star?
6th. It's before All-Star.
Before All-Star.
It used to be after All-Star. It's Thursday, February 6th. There might be a chance where we actually get in the booth during the trade deadline. I'm kind of hoping that might happen. That'd be pretty cool if we could. Still, that's in the works. We'll definitely have a trade deadline preview on the podcast next week. We'll also have Might I Add with Kyle Partain and Emily Hernandez talking UCF baseball and softball. Check that out sometime early next week. And check out Hitting the Crew, first episode with Johnny Jackson. Just went live this past couple days ago, or Thursday. I got my days mixed up. It's been a long week.
Yeah, it's been a
A long week.
It's okay, Joe.
But go check that out on our YouTube page and on Apple Podcasts. You can find all of our podcasts on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Hitting the Field. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. And happy Super Bowl Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make